Hey guys, Christian here. Welcome back to another video. So on October of 2019, I uploaded a car review onto my Vehicle Virals YouTube channel on the BMW M4, and little did I know how much hate I was going to get on that video. I found it very odd at the time because I worked so hard on that video with the cinematic camera work. I had a couple of my friends help me out with the exterior driving portions. I tried to make it as engaging as possible. I think it took me about 22 to 23 hours to make that video. But the truth is that many people just didn't like what I had to say, or they misinterpreted it. Today I'll be reading some of the most hateful and common comments that I got on that video and try my best to respond to them. It should be very interesting because I have never done this before. I want to start by saying that I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking you shouldn't reply to the hate comments. They're just looking for attention. You don't have to address them. Listen guys, not a single day goes by where I don't get a negative comment on that video. As it stands right now, that video has a 33% dislike rate, which is extremely high for my channel. I typically average 3 to 4% dislikes on every video, so I knew something was wrong. For the longest, my plan was to just sweep that video under the rug, call it a day. It was probably a bunch of M4 fanboys that got salty, but then I started getting comments on my most recent videos about the M4 videos, negative ones. Like, I really pissed some people off. So I decided to go back and rewatch the video, read the comments, watch the video, compare and contrast, and see what I messed up on. And after reviewing the video several times, I realized, yeah, there were some things I could have done better. Here's the thing, I'm planning to make more M4 videos in the future, and I don't want people to reflect back on that old video. Also, for those that are in the market and just happen to come across my video, I don't want them to think that it's a bad car. Anyways, let's get to the fun part and start reading these comments. And I mean, just looking through them is painful. Let's get started. Dude, the M mirrors are gorgeous.
And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about these mirrors. They seem a bit overstyled. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, that's not that much of a hate comment because I did ask them to tell me what they think. I did say that the mirrors are a bit overstyled. That's just my personal opinion. I get it. They probably have some function to them because of the design, more aerodynamic, whatever. Anyways, moving on to the next one. I prefer a 335i to an M4, LMAO. All right, so this is a perfect example of somebody reading between the lines because he put quotation marks as he's quoting what I'm saying in the video, yet I never said that I prefer the 335i over the M4. I can definitely see how it seems like I come off as biased in the video, but that's not the truth. There were some things about the BMW M4 that I really wasn't a fan of, but it's not really a criticism towards the BMW M4 alone. It's more towards like modern BMWs in general. My first impressions when I drove the car was that it lacked feel.
So yeah, the steering wheel feels good, looks good, but handling wise, it's a modern car, so it has electric steering, and from somebody that comes from a car that has the traditional hydraulic steering, this is just not the same.
That was the first high-performance sports car that I drove that had electric steering, and coming from somebody that owns a car with traditional hydraulic steering, it's very different. Not to say that hydraulic steering is better, because electric steering is pretty much mainstream right now. It's more versatile. You can dial in the settings based on the driving scenario or if somebody else is going to drive the car. It's just as a person that got really used to only driving ones with the hydraulic steering, it was a rough transition when I drove the M4. It's pretty much the same difficulty people are going through when switching from gas-powered vehicles to electric-powered vehicles. It's a very tough transition. Another critique I had about the M4 in the video is that it felt big, and it did to me. Personal opinion, what do you want me to lie about it? It really did. It felt like a big two-door sports car.
The BMW M4 is a big car, at least for me and from what I'm used to. When you press on the pedal, take some twisty turns, you don't really feel that involved. When you're going fast, you feel like you're going slow.
But that could also be a thing that I'm just not used to as cars continue to get bigger year after year. Maybe that's just something that I have to adapt to myself, and it's not really an issue for anybody else. The other two critiques are the stock exhaust. I didn't think it sounded that good. I mean, I'm sorry, it sounds bad.
The sound that you get out of this car, very underwhelming. I'm sure that with catalyst downpipes, this car would probably sound much better. But as it stands right now, without the M Performance exhaust, just the stock exhaust, very underwhelming.
If you have no idea what the BMW M4 sounds like, well, here, listen. All right, let's see what else we got. Bro, you are a hater before you tested it. Really? A hater before I got to drive it? Is that what you really think happened? That couldn't be farther from the truth. When I first rented it, which was like a week before I uploaded the video, I was in suspense. I was so excited. It's why I rented it. I really wanted to drive the car and at the same time make content on it. Do you really think that was my original plan, to like go on Turo and then start swiping away, specifically looking for an M4 so I can trash on it, record a video, upload it onto YouTube, piss off all the M4 fanboys, collect their salt and season my food with it? Come to think about it, that's actually a pretty good idea, but no, that was not the original plan. My plan was to drive it, love the car, and hopefully purchase it in the future. So no, I was not a hater before I tested it. In fact, I wasn't even a hater at all. There was just some things that I liked and some things that I didn't like. I would like to mention that most of the people that were commenting on that video didn't even watch the video all the way through. They probably didn't even get to listen to a lot of the good stuff and positives that I said about the BMW M4.
It's actually a good car, lots of power, very torquey, can be very fun. The exterior design, by far my favorite feature. It looks so aggressive outside. The lines, the headlights, the tail lights, just how low it sits, the wheels. The outside looks very beautiful, and the inside as well. Quality material throughout the cabin, except maybe this harder than expected plastic here on the dashboard. The carbon fiber accents are cool. The seats hug you tight. All that said, the BMW M4 is a great car. It's just not the best choice for somebody like me.
My guess is that they heard the first two critiques, had enough of it, and went straight down to the comment section. So I'm looking at the audience retention graph here on YouTube. As a creator, it kind of tells you where people are dropping off and how much people are watching of the video. In the first 21 seconds of the video, nearly 30% of people already left the video. They probably all went straight to the comment section to talk some shit. And then at the 2-minute and 30-second mark, nearly 50% of people already left the video. At the 5-minute and 31-second mark, nearly 60% of people already left the video. And if you take a look at the far right of the audience retention graph, you'll notice that only 7.1% of viewers finished the video. Only 7.1%. And I'm going to tell you why that matters, because towards the last few minutes of that video I talk about how the BMW M4 is a great car, and while it's not an ideal car for me, it could be a phenomenal car for someone else. But to be honest, I'm not surprised that not that many people made it to the end of the video, because that's typically what happens. They hear something they don't like towards the beginning, they leave the video, go straight to the comment section and just say what they want to say. I'm going to go ahead and group the following two comments together. This was a review of your BMW 335i. What kind of car do you own again? I don't think you mentioned it. Have you modded it? So these two type of comments are very common in the comment section of the M4 review video, and I think that most people have a point. I think I mentioned my personal 335i in that video a little bit too much. Like way too much. How many you ask? Let's see.
BMW 335i, my 335i, the 335i, the 335i, 335i is my 335i, my 335i, my 335i, my 335i, the 335i.
My response to those type of comments is that I'm learning. I don't typically do a lot of car reviews on my channel, and when I do, I feel like I mess up somewhere, but thankfully I got you guys to lead me in the right direction, either by giving me feedback and criticism and stuff like that. I think the criticism on the M4 video was pretty harsh. I mean, you guys really went freaking ham. This wasn't supposed to be a comparison video, but solely a video on the M4, especially for those that are looking to buy one in the future, want to learn more about it. I'm sorry that I mentioned my 335i so much in that video. That was not the right thing to do. It seemed like I kind of gloated about it as well. So now I know going forward when I review other cars not to really over compare to another car, especially one that's not in the same category. At the time I didn't think much of it, but then when I started seeing the same comments over and over and over again of me mentioning my 335i, I think I got the point. All right, let's see what else we got. Don't talk about style wearing that type of outfit. Seriously, that's how we're gonna roll? You're that salty that you gotta take shots at my outfit? I thought the outfit looked pretty good that day. In fact, that day that I was reviewing the car, I got a lot of compliments, so I think I'm good. All right. The M4 will wreck your 335i with just a stage 1 tune. That's a negative. A BMW M4 with a stage 1 tune, which essentially means like no other parts, just a tune, is not gonna wreck my 335i. At least not on a straight line, like a drag race. On a track, maybe, because my car is not really built for the track. Plus, it's a hardtop convertible, which is much heavier. But if you're talking about just straight line, No sir, not my 335i. Get some downpipes on the M4 and a tune, and yeah, you're probably gonna be wrecking my 335i all day. All right, so let's go ahead and look at 3 more comments. If you're gonna review cars, be objective. You're not doing a head-to-head. Stop comparing your 335i. It's a review, not a comparison. This guy has a point, and I really do appreciate how he wrote the comments. Very professional. There is some criticism in there, but that's the one comment that made me realize that I took the wrong approach when I reviewed the M4. Like he said, I got to be more objective and not compare the 2 cars, especially if it's a review on one specific car. Stick to the review. That's what people came to the video to see. But I will say this, everything that I said in that video, I really meant. Like, I was being 100% honest. I wasn't lying about anything. That's how I truly felt at the time. Maybe I should have titled the video like an impressions video, first impressions versus a full review. I think part of the reason was that I had my car so stuck in my head that when I transitioned over to the M4, I didn't have it long enough to truly appreciate how awesome the car was. I was so stuck with what I'm used to. And you know, when you get used to something, it's hard to make the switch.
Seriously, I wish I could just erase the 335i experience from my head so I can review this car with an open mind. Maybe I would feel differently about this car if I didn't have the 335i fresh in my memory.
So going forward, if I'm gonna review a car, I'm definitely gonna wanna drive it for more than just one day so I can really get used to it, forget about what else I'm driving, and just focus on that car. Okay, so this comment right here kind of bugs me. First person to say, don't like it. Kind of weird. I love cars. I think it's brilliantly engineered. Here's the thing, I never once said that I didn't like the BMW M4 in the video. It feels like everybody just implies that based on the things that I talked about. I actually liked a lot about it. Like, the exterior is absolutely phenomenal. The wide stands, the flared fenders, the wheel fitment, the carbon fiber roof. I absolutely love the exterior design of the BMW M4. And then of course I mentioned things that I just didn't like that much. That doesn't necessarily mean that I hate the car. I mean, at the time it just wasn't the right choice for me. Now I feel a little more differently now that I've driven a few of them for an extended amount of time. And I definitely agree that the engineering behind the BMW M4 is freaking phenomenal. And honestly, I don't expect anything less from BMW. All right, so this user left this comment very recently, and I just had to include it in the video. Bro, E90X 335is are so lame and outplayed. They are becoming teenagers' first act, and every 18 year that has one has Westgate rattle, misfiring, 150J mile leaky piece of shit. I know you think that your 335i is cool or whatever, but realistically, it's not. A turbo's BMW E36 breaks 100 times more necks than your 335i, no matter what you do to it, because of the fact that everybody and their grandma has a 35i powered car. M or bust, broke boy. I wonder what that user's goal was by leaving that comment. Was it to piss me off, get to me, make me feel bad about owning a BMW 335i? Because if it was any of those, then he failed miserably. The truth is that I've been doing YouTube for a little bit over 2 years now, and hate comments, I'm pretty much immune to them at the moment. I typically read them, laugh about it, show it to my wife, we laugh about it. I'll text it to like 4 or 5 of my friends and we all laugh about it. It doesn't really bother me. Sure, the 335i is becoming a lot cheaper, more obtainable. A lot of young people are starting to buy them. That doesn't make them any less awesome though. If you buy a good condition 335i, you do all the maintenance before you start modifying it, it can actually be a very capable car that's pretty reliable. Again, if you take care of it and maintain it, and it can be very rewarding when you start adding power to it. And I think the funniest part about this comment is the very end where they say M or bust. Broke boy. So you think it's perfectly okay to downplay somebody because they don't own a M BMW? Sounds about right. And broke boy. You got me. I'm broke as f. Anyways, I want to say thank you to all 1,053 of you guys that contributed to the comment section of that video. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't know what to improve on future car reviews. Sure, some of the comments were pretty professional and others were just pretty bad. And the ones that I showed you today, they're kind of mild. Compared to the replies under those comments, they're very, very bad. And then there's flagged comments that YouTube sends to an inbox that are even worse. I have to either approve or deny them. I try to stay away from that folder because that's where the most toxic comments are held. If your curiosity is killing you and you want to see all the hate comments and even some of the positive ones, I'll leave a link to the M4 video down in the description below so you guys can check it out. Just try not to start a war in the comment section over there because there kind of is one already going on. Let me know in the comment section below which car you guys want me to review on this channel, and I will make sure not to compare it to my 335i. Make sure and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on my next video. This video was a fun one, and as always, thanks for watching. Till next time.